Hey everybody, welcome back to Brennan's Garage. We're going to give an update on the Old Blue Willys project, which is a 1950 CJ3A that I've been extensively modifying for the last couple years. We are still working on the gas tank stuff, or at least that's where we're picking back up. And just wanted to show you kind of what we're working on today and kind of where that part of the project is at. I might do a overview again. It's been a while since an update, but most of it's going to concentrate around getting this gas tank done, and then we can move on to, I guess, finishing this thing. The gas tank is probably the most difficult part of this project so far, believe it or not. Fitting a close to 20-gallon gas tank under the back of a very low slung flat fender is quite challenging, and there's a lot of things in this to design around. So I'll take you on a little tour here and show you where we're at. So basically, the gas tank fits under the back primarily, but it does have a dog leg in it that goes forward alongside the drive shaft. And so let me show you that real quick here. Hopefully this lighting system works a little good for you, but so you can see under here, this is the dog leg of the tank that comes forward past the axle to get that extra capacity. And then let's see here if I can bring you guys along, show you what's going on under here. So basically, got my little pointer stick. Hopefully that helps out a little bit. But this is that dog leg that comes up over the axle forward almost all the way to the transfer case, but I tried to leave enough room here so that the transfer case could be dropped off the back of the transmission. And then basically there'll be I have to fabricate a mount that ties in here in this area. There'll be a mount that ties in here in this area to this cross member. And then on the here, there'll be a mount that ties into this pocket that goes around the differential. And so that's the forward part of everything. You can see this one's got a Dana 20 transfer case in it that's going to get low gears and SM 420, and then it's all let's see if you guys can see that or not, but it's tucked up flush underneath for a totally flat belly. So that's that part of it. And then the other part is going to be this skid plate that I just mocked up. So let's get you a little shot of that. So under there, you can see the skid plate, which will just weld to the bottom of the tank. It's going to be 1/8 inch stainless 304, just like the tank is. Well, the tank's 18 gauge, but skid plate a little thicker. And then it comes back and ties into this mount on the lower part of the bumper. When I built that, I pre-built these blind 3/8 fasteners, and so that's all going to tie together. So this was kind of a fun little exercise because it was super challenging to get everything to hold still. So I ended up actually, hopefully you can see that, on each side I actually ended up making a little spacer bolt to the spring hanger, or to the spring clamp, sorry, and to hold the tank in position side to side, because honestly it was really, really difficult to get it to stay in the same place as I jigged everything up and made the patterns for this. The tank would just move around a little bit because it's still just basically floating in there. I only have this clamp that holds up the center of the tank, and then it's basically held up against these two cross members under the bottom. You can see one of them there, and then there's one forward under the other support of the rear floor. So I marked out all this. This is where the fuel pump will live. This will be a plate that comes on and off to allow easy replacement of the factory fuel pump assembly. It's just a GM fuel pump assembly to run the 4.3 engine that this one has in it. And then I just templated out this little fill-in piece here that's kind of taking the place of the pintle hitch. And then there'll be a diagonal that'll go here and another one on the other side to triangulate the rear of the frame and this hitch kind of assembly. But that's it so far. That's the update for today anyways. And I'll pattern out those other mounts that are underneath it and spin you around here because I feel like I'm just talking to my hand. There we are. So anyways, so the last step we have, or the next step is going to be making all those small brackets for the auxiliary mounts and marking out where everything goes on the tank as much as I possibly can before I have to pull it back out again. And then I will make all those mounts and weld them to the tank. And then I will make all the mating modifications to the frame side last, drilling where the hole goes for the mount and that kind of thing, to hopefully let me do a final adjustment on where the tank has to be under this. But anyways, I want to show you kind of how much clearance this has under here. So you can see it's got quite a bit. Let me go get my little pointer stick. So it's basically designed so that the bottom of the tank is never further than the bottom of the axle tube differential assembly. And so this area is probably the most concerning with this. That's why I'm adding a pretty significant skid plate here. But just to demonstrate kind of what the clearance looks like as the back of the vehicle is going to drop off of something, like hitting departure angle on this is quite good because the 37s and the shorter springs. So these are basically CJ23 style rear springs that I custom designed with the lift and the spring rate I wanted and all that, but the lengths are kind of similar. So it's not as long as like a YJ spring. But so imagine this as being kind of the ledge you're dropping off of. And so you can see as that ledge drops off, it does miss a lot of the tank and the spring stuff in that critical zone as much as possible anyways. And then in this area, the tank is actually above is equal to where the spring is. So these would take a significant amount of the damage or the impact, if you will, if a rock got into this area and then the skid plate takes over in this area. But generally, everything is as compact as I can get it with the requirement or the request that we get a decent sized tank in this that was underneath the rear floor. One last thing I do have to kind of figure out, or at least make a decision on, is what to do for the filler neck assembly. That gets pretty complicated pretty quick, honestly. I have basically one idea, and the easiest idea of all that would be to put the filler right here in this fascia plate, if you will, or the pintle plate, and just fill directly into the tank with a small little screw filler. That would actually work quite well because it would be short. You wouldn't have to worry about the gas backing up in the filler neck. The tank, of course, would be vented in another location and higher up. This would be a sealed fill port. But that's one idea. This is one that I'm actually seriously considering, just because it really helps with the clutter and everything. And then the other idea is to put a more traditional filler in it, but have that integrated into this. See if I can get you guys up here. Into one of these rear panels. But I've also got a down tube that has to go in here for the cage. The C-pillar on the cage has to go in down in here and tie into this area of the bumper. And so there's got to be a light. There's got to be a license plate back here somewhere. So which side, if it's the passenger side or the driver's side, you know, gets kind of complicated kind of quick. And then the exotic, or the idea that I've been thinking about the longest with that is basically making a combination of the C-pillar down tube and the filler neck. So basically integrating those two things together to save space, and then just having the filler neck come out up here somewhere, perhaps. So let me know down in the comments if you guys have any ideas. As I said, space is very limited in this thing, and we don't have. We're at this stage where we're not going to move a ton of stuff around anymore, so it's using up the space that we have left to fit everything, and that's where it gets pretty challenging. So yeah, thanks for following along today, and hopefully I can do these updates more often now, and you can follow along with the process and kind of my thought process, I guess, on how some of this is done on these big projects, and follow along as we go through the last of the big things on this, at least. And that's going to be the finishing off the gas tank, and then the after that will be the exhaust, most likely, and then there'll be a belly skid plate, and the rear shock mounts are going to be, the uppers are going to be integrated into the C-pillar down tube. So we'll do that, and there's some things with the shocks and where the exhaust comes out. Probably, I think I'm on the right frame here, but in this area here, the exhaust is going to have to come outside of the shackle and be tucked in this area with a little, down turn to keep it out of the rocks, hopefully. This shackle doesn't hang down very far, so there's some things to work around there. And then that is the major fabrication that's left on this one. And if you guys want a catch-up video or some details on things, let me know. I'm always looking for ideas on videos. But yeah, then we're gonna plumb it and wire it, and then hopefully make it run, and give this back to the owner. So thank you for following along. I know this project's been forever, but it's it's just how it is when you have everything else to do sometimes. But I think taking your time sometimes is good, and ends up with a better final product. So thank you for following along. Bye.